what are the extraordinary contributions of Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada to the world preaching, to the world consciousness, the world Krishna consciousness. Because we always hear Prabhupada went to America and then 1, 2, 3, he had a big mission. But what did he actually do? How he accomplished things? Very few people know about that. As a matter of fact, if you've never been inside of ISKCON, you know very little what Prabhupada set up. So I think we have here a very interesting book. It's called Srila Prabhupada Chichamrita, where it is being documented what Prabhupada said about so many subjects. Look, only the subjects in this book to give you the. I mean, every Acharya gives great advice to his disciples, is obvious, but here in this book we have Grihastha Ashram, governing body commission, how to manage something, health, hearing, humility, Krishna consciousness in the home, life membership, living entity, Mahamaya and Yoga Maya, and personality descriptions. Prabhupada gave so many personality descriptions here. It's amazing. His knowledge. Then Prashadam, preaching in the West, preaching in India, and publication, public relations. What a kind of a dictionary is this? We have to be very grateful to the devotees of the Bhaktivedanta library to compile all these things. Like the Vanipedia is an unparalleled temple of Prabhupada's teachings in the internet. It is unparalleled. Yes. Nobody has done anything similar. So, by having this book in our hand and our conversation of us today, uh, I would ask each one of us to present the three most outstanding features which Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada gave for the world to pick up Krishna consciousness. And then we can converse on those three. You heard the subjects which are here. Maharaj, you start. What is outstanding in Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada?
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Jai Vancha Kalpatarupasya Kripa Sindhubhaiva Cha Pratitanang Pavanebho Vaishnavibho Namah Namah. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Sri Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, in order to glorify Srila Prabhupada, it is naturally not possible for any human being because Prabhupada was empowered soul. He was Sattva Sakta, and the activities which he had done is completely transcendental because he neither have a single penny to spend in America. He took only 40 rupees in Indian currency, which has no value to in America to even purchase 1 kg of rice. So when he reached America, he didn't know where to go, even left or right. So in that condition, when he survived, that was very special, and that itself proves that he was empowered because an Indian at 70 years of age going to a place which is very chill, cold, and covered with snow. He arrived in America in the month of September or October, most probably October. And from November itself, the cold season starts, and everything was covered by ice, which we never see in India. To survive there is for a man of 70 years of age itself is very difficult. Sometimes when I think I cannot just calculate, my tiny brain cannot calculate this thing, how he survived. Yes.
We also have it in India, in Kerala and Badrinath, but when the snow comes, then everybody moves away and they close everything. But in America, they cannot close. They have to stay there and do everything.
Exactly. So, the first thing which I would like to glorify Srila Prabhupada is that Prabhupada had 4 ashrama in the temple: Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. And he sent 3 couples from America to England to preach to the British people. Can you imagine? And those 3 people were Grihastha. And I am not criticizing Gaudiya Math, but from Gaudiya Math, many sannyasis went to preach in the West, and mostly they were not successful. Even if they could establish a temple here and there, they established by the fund of Indian people who were staying over there. They could not even initiate one foreigner, one Western devotee, what to speak of making them sannyas. Prabhupada started his movement in 1966, and in 1968 he has many sannyasis with him. So he had Grihastha with him. He sent them to preach, and they were preaching. When they were preaching, they were like maybe 1 or 2 years of old in Krishna consciousness. So in India, if you speak with someone who is 10 years in Krishna consciousness, still he knows nothing. And Prabhupada made everything possible that in 2 years, 1 or 2 years, they became capable to convince people to bring them into Krishna consciousness. And not only that, to make a huge, huge temple, not one temple, 108 temples in all over the world, which is one thing. The second thing, the way he suggested for cleanliness, everyone becomes hooked by the cleanliness of the temple, ISKCON temple. Wherever I go, they say, "Are you from ISKCON temple? We visited ISKCON temple." They start glorifying ISKCON. Even if I say I am from Gaudiya Math, they start glorifying ISKCON because the cleanliness which they maintain is very remarkable, that no one can do that. All the time you find the temple is clean all the time. If you go in the morning, in the noontime, in the whenever the temple closes, they start immediately they start screaming. First of all, they start screaming. So cleaning, making the 4 ashramas, and 4 ashramas also another point that he gave sannyas to devotees who were only 18, 20, 24, 25 years old, not more than 30 years of age. No one joined more than 30 years. So they were very like teenage or just left the teenage. The third thing, he introduced deity worship top class. The family of Gaudiya Vaishnava, still I am saying I am not criticizing, but it is a fact that in Gaudiya Math, they entered into the deity room with stitched cloth, with banyan, even with sweater, and in the winter, but in ISKCON, no allowed. When I was Pujari in Vallavidhyanagar, I was serving as a head Pujari, and from the morning in winter, I was with the Uttari up to 8 o'clock, from 2:30 to 8 o'clock. I was just with the Uttari. So, this thing you will never find in any other sampradaya. It is ancient Indian culture to go to the deity room with no stitched cloth. This all are mentioned in Shikshamrita that one should not go to the deity with wearing a stitched cloth. Yes, as we have limited time, and these are the 3 points I can mention about Srila Prabhupada. We have thousands of points, even if we glorify Srila Prabhupada for 7 days continuously, like Srimad Bhagavatam, we will not be able to finish it.
We will not finish.
So, yes.
Rishikesh Maharaj.
Yeah, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada himself has mentioned in many places how he could make the hippies into happies. That was one of his biggest contribution. He went to the West and made so many devotees. And one more very important contribution of Srila Prabhupada to the society is his books. His Bhaktivedanta purports to the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and many other books. So the contribution of him in the form of books and making so many devotees around the world, that leaves a part. I mean, that was these 2 things he has done wonderful, and in fact, he said his books will remain for 10,000 years. That's what he said, right? So for
It was said that Srila Prabhupada's books are the law books for the next 10,000 years.
So that itself is a very big contribution to the society. In fact, I came in contact with ISKCON devotees, and a devotee gave me one copy of a Back to Godhead magazine and a Raja Vidya book. They were doing Nagar Sankirtan on the road, and I stopped and I talked to them, and one of the devotee gave me immediately a book and said, so and so place we have a center, you please come. And we have also Srila Prabhupada's instruction, distribute as many books as possible. We can see this Krishna conscious movement is automatically spreading around the world by this activity of book distribution. And as you said, so many things. Prabhupada has, the lady disciples of him whom he, in the beginning when he started the movement, he even taught them how to wear a sari.
Yes.
So if you go from one point to another, everywhere he has, and as far as he said, as you said in the books, regarding management of the temple, management of devotees, do's and don'ts, everything he has done in meticulous way. There is no doubt about that. And when I see Srila Prabhupada's disciples, even now after 60 years of his preaching, they are still continuing, and there's some of them are gems. There are many of them, every one of them are special, and all that because of Srila Prabhupada's association and mercy upon them. And that same thing is being continued in the second generation also. We all came in contact, of course, we came in contact with ISKCON much after Srila Prabhupada left. But by reading the books and by associating with ISKCON, we had that opportunity. As you said, this is a wonderful contribution by Srila Prabhupada's disciples, that they have given everything what Prabhupada said, word by word, all his lectures, his interviews, his festival classes, his conversations. Everything is recorded, and we are getting unlimited mercy out of it. We all continue our Krishna conscious activity in an enthusiastic way because of Srila Prabhupada's presentation of the philosophy, also his instructions. And definitely, as you said, he had a pure desire to please his guru. That leaves him, that makes him apart from all others, I would say to some extent, because throughout his preaching, he always said, I am doing all this for the pleasure of my guru, and because of his instructions and because of his mercy, I am able to do. And in one place, somewhere I remember hearing, he said, this whole International Society for Krishna Conscious Movement is established by me for the pleasure of his guru. And all that makes him a unique person. We hardly see any, of course, we came across a lot of sadhus. Even before coming into contact with ISKCON, I used to go to some institutions. But the moment I read Srila Prabhupada's books, and the way I see the ISKCON preaching going on in those days, I was sometime in 82 or 83. The preaching in Australia, the preaching in USA, in European countries, all that. The World of Hare Krishna, one movie was there. So all that shows us how Srila Prabhupada has wonderfully his introduction of Ratha Yatra in the West. That was another big contribution by him throughout the world. He has Ratha Yatras he started. He translated his books into many languages, and he established the 10 temples. Everything you can see, his contribution is unlimited. There is no counting. Even now in Vrindavan, you can see so many hundreds of thousands of people are coming to the temple in Vrindavan ISKCON. It is just that all over the world the preaching is going on, and the effect of it, people come to in Vrindavan, they say, okay, we want to go to ISKCON temple. So all that shows us that his mercy is still with us, and because of his endeavors and because of his desire to save, the whole parampara is pleased by his activity. So let us be all thankful to him. And I think only way we can pay him back is by following his instructions and doing as much as possible to contribute and spread this mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna.
Or you can give your insight into the
You already said it. that hundreds of hours would not be enough. It really is a little bit like the story that Sheshanaga is trying to glorify all the glories of the Lord and can never finish them. So a little bit that is applicable to Prabhupada. And to me, because I've been very deeply inside of the ISKCON from the very beginning, and I was also very much deep inside the Gaudiya Math. As a matter of fact, I'm still in Gaudiya Math, no difference. And therefore, I've always been very surprised and shocked how little people know about Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Class চলছে। একটু পরে 7টার সময় বসলে হবে 7টার সময়।
How little people really know about Prabhupada, how little they have understood. Now, Srila Sridhar Maharaj told us once, very interesting, one person asked, what is the contribution of Gokishodas Babaji Maharaj to our Sampradaya? Srila Sridhar Maharaj became very grave and serious, upset, you could say, and he would say, Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. That was the contribution of Gokishodas Babaji Maharaj. So it's a very dangerous thing to try to compare devotees and give them kind of stickers of elevation, of this or that. Then Srila Sridhar Maharaj said another thing. Why do the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan did all different type of things? And then he said, don't be an atheist. Says Krishna could have empowered each and every one of the Goswamis to do what the others did, but he decided to empower in this way. Same thing is applicable to Prabhupada and his godbrothers. If Krishna would have wanted to empower a godbrother to do it, he could have done it also, but he empowered him. So my surprise is that because I've seen both the virtues as well as the failures, especially in Prabhupada's movement after he left the world, that it is very necessary for the Gaudiya, for ISKCON, to understand the glory of the Gaudiya Math. And it's very necessary for the members of the Gaudiya Math to understand the empowered example and activity of Prabhupada. Both of them, if they don't embrace these others with great joy, they're missing out something. They're really missing out on the empowerment, which could be there. Bhaktivedanta Madhava, very empowered Acharya. Bhakti Pragyankeshwar Maharaj, a very empowered Acharya. I mean, he gave sannyas through our Srila Prabhupada, no? And Bhaktivedanta Bon Maharaj, also empowered. And the list goes on of other great acharyas who also were empowered. Anyhow, today, now many years, none of these disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada are with us anymore. We have some great pictures like your Prabhupada meeting with your Guru Deva, things like that.
I think in 1992 everyone is finished.
Yeah, something like that. Bhakti Vaibhav Puri Maharaj was one of the last ones, and Govinda Shastri from Kathak. He was one of the last disciples to leave.
I met Santa Goswami Maharaj in Calcutta.
Yes, he was one of the.
He was
You met him when he was still in good consciousness?
Yes, he was actually kind of little coma, I think. But I went to his room and I paid obeisance.
Yeah, the last years he spent in coma.
Yes.
So this nature, and that's why I invited you, all of you, to come to this subject on the basis of Prabhupada's Shikshamrita, because here we have an evidence at hand how he directed all these things, how he did these immense things. And I know that the greater amount, and the Gaudiya Math can be divided into those people who do appreciate 100% what Prabhupada did. Another group, they have some respect for it, but they don't fully understand what happened. And there's a third group, they are not very interested. They think ISKCON is antagonistic to Gaudiya Math, so they also take a little of antagonistic step, so they don't know anything. So I would say Gaudiya Math is still three groups. And in ISKCON, there is the group of secretly knowing about Gaudiya Math and liking Gaudiya Math, secretly, because officially they are not allowed neither to associate nor to take instruction or to have any good association, and to those who are very superficially say, oh no, like Prabhupada said something negative, so Gaudiya Math is kind of useless in comparison to us big people. So all these three groups on both sides, they need to come closer to the true understanding, which is everything done in ISKCON practically is super glorious. And everything done in Gaudiya Math by the other disciples of Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur is also super glorious. And the real glory can only be understood if we see them with the same eye. The glory of Gaudiya Math and the glory of ISKCON, we should see it with the same eye, with the same beauty, which of course, somebody who opened 100 temples, he opened 100 temples. That's his glory, no? But nevertheless, we, coming back to the example of Gokishore's Babaji Maharaj, that is up to Krishna. How many devotees? I have one of my very dear devotees, Nayananda Das Babaji Maharaj. He built all the buildings in Rajapatan, in Mayapur. He was the disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who's always overseeing the constructions, including the Bhaktivedanta school, everything. He was always, and his Guru Deva gave him the order: you are not allowed to preach. You have to look after these buildings. So such cases, or the very simple devotees who did the cooking. Like there was one devotee, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he did all the cooking when Prabhupada came. He was so, there was Miskin Srinath Babaji Maharaj, who was always chanting and who was giving a great example of devotional spirit of renunciation and loving everybody and supporting everybody. So I personally feel, and that's, I think, is one of the big jobs of the Vishwa Vaishnava Dharma, to increase the deep-hearted appreciation of each other. How to do that? It's not easy because there's always a natural kind of sectarianism in all missions. They kind of think, yes, everything is good, but my guru is, that's really the top thing. And we have to understand that's not true. Every guru represents the top thing. That is what Guru Tattva means. They are the representative of Radharani, the top preacher. She is the original guru. And I think that is the reason why we have to have this type of discussion again and again and again and again until we all join in. Yes, we want to hear the glory of Shantu Maharaj also. We want to hear the glory of Sri Maharaj also. We are not only wanting to hear the glories of Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, but because Prabhupada has been so deeply misunderstood that this is something which is like, I would be daring to say, that if you got the mercy of Krishna consciousness, it's difficult to make that example, but if you don't appreciate what Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada did for the world, you are at least missing out 30% of the nectar of Krishna consciousness. Maybe 40, maybe 50, I don't know, but at least 30%. And if any Gaudiya Math devotee who does not have this love and appreciation, missing out 30% of the nectar of his inner appreciation of Krishna's plan, we should try to give them this 30%. And vice versa, if anybody in ISKCON cannot appreciate God, he's missing more than 30% in the total appreciation of the wonders of the Krishna conscious movement is concerned. He's missing more than 30%, plus the danger of apparat is there. If one is like, oh, what they are doing is nothing, or it's not as valuable, or whatever little thing may come in the mind negatively. So therefore, when I saw this book, Sri Chamitam, I said, this is a book we have to show to the Gaudiya Math. We have to show them, look what he said. Look how many subjects he touched. Huh? Look what good advice he gave. He didn't have all those temples without hard work. Prabhupada wrote 16,000 letters or something like that. I got 5 of them. And I was a little nobody. Huh? So much so, just to show the devotee, look, what did Bhaktivedanta Swami do and said for all of us. And of course, by reading this now, we are just talking freely here. By reading this, we becoming entering subjects, special, and Prabhupada adjusted Krishna consciousness to time, place, and circumstance. I was surprised what Maharaj said about the high standard of deity worship, the non-stitched clothes, and things like that. I was surprised because I thought, well, the highest standard of deity worship should be in the Gaudiya Math because there's no ladies going on the altars, things like that. But it's time, place, and circumstance, and they all did wonderful. Prabhupada himself said that Imlitala has the highest standard of deity worship in the Gaudiya Math. He said that. And he pointed out that. And he also said the worship of Radha Raman in Vrindavan is the highest standard amongst the Goswamis, how they keep the worship of the deities up. So Prabhupada gave so much information and so much, but the most important thing is his love and sweetness. And that love and sweetness exploded when he ended his earthly sojourn by sending people out to all the Gaudiya Maths to give them donation and to tell them, please excuse me for any mistake or offense I may have made during my preaching campaign. I'm very sorry about it. Where have you heard about such a thing? Where have you heard that a great preacher is excusing himself before the others who are great devotees, but maybe not as great preachers in physical performance? So this is all the things we have to preach them. And I think that is part of the Vishwa Vaishnava Rajava. And that's why there's also resistance to the Vishwa Vaishnava Rajava. Because nobody would accept, we are missing 30% of the nectar of Krishna consciousness. If I say that to anybody, they go, how do you dare to say that? No, I say it's only valid if you don't appreciate the glory of this preaching or that preaching or that preaching. No. For example, Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, he and his guru Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, they worked so hard to obtain the place of birth of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. And then they made it into this most glorious Gaudiya Math temple there. Who can give a description to that? In the heart of Jagannath Puri, on the main road of Lord Jagannath, where Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had his first darshan of Lord Jagannath. That place is now ours. And if you go there, you will be welcome. So such glorious things are really the sum and substance of what I feel is our conversation. And if the devotees get those 30% or 40% of nectar, our kirtans will be more ecstatic. Even we must overcome. Now, this is one thing, it's a little side. As I was secretary work of Vishwa Vaishnava Rajshava, I had to go and speak to people who were in court before, or may even still. They had court cases against each other, or they had a very bad relationship. But I was pushing that we are one family and we have to follow Jiva Goswami's vision of that we have common causes. And the common causes can only be tackled by joint effort. Many of those causes individually, no mission has been able to tackle them. And there's a long list of them, of common causes, which have not been tackled. One of them is to get the permission for the Vaishnavas to enter into the darshan of Lord Jagannath. That was requested by Prabhupada Bhaktivedanta Swami. He gave this request to Bhaktivedanta Purimac. Correct this mistake. And there's so many other common causes. And the welfare of humanity, that is a common cause for all Gaudiya. And the Gaudiya and the world is not very benefited when they find out that the Gaudiyas don't love each other and appreciate each other so deeply. Anyway, that's what I give here. Now we have open conversation, open discussion on any of the things we have so far heard. Maharaj? Purushottama Mass is starting day after tomorrow or tomorrow?
Yeah.
Day after tomorrow.
17.
So we have a Purushottama Mass. My goodness. Can you give a little explanation on Purushottama Mass?
It's already time is over. Time is over. I don't want to extend the time.
Time is over, so we have to Purushottama Mass will be the topic of tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah.
Jai. Jai Sri Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Bhaktivedanta Swami ki Jai. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki Jai. Vishwa Vaishnava Rajshava Acharya Vinda ki Jai. All the disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and their disciples and grand disciples, all of them ki Jai. The great Vaishnava family ki Jai. All the Char Sampradayas ki Jai. All of the efforts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to bring us to His lotus feet ki Jai. Radharani ki Jai, the original Guru of Prema ki Jai. And to all of you, our love. And Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindha Parivacha Patitanam Pavanubhyo Vaishnavibhyo